others are going to handle the change and the challenge of change. But the Lord addressed this attitude or this mindset with strong words. When he spoke through Moses and asked the question in verse number 6, shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit here? What I am praying tonight that we hear from this session is there is a clarion call from God for every one of us to engage in battle. In case you didn't know it, the Pentecostals of Fort Worth has enraged the adversary. This little church that started in a little apartment complex is not supposed to be here. This church that started with just a few little people is not supposed to be in this position. We have claimed property and territory that Satan has set up camp on. And that's why, if you're involved in anything in this church, you have fought battles you never saw before. In your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, and maybe even in your life. That's why. That's why. That's why we've engaged in spiritual warfare that we've never been in before. And God tried to prepare us before we got here. Now that we're here, let's make up in our mind. I'm not going to let what somebody says. I'm not going to let what somebody does. I'm not going to let how somebody acts. It's not going to affect me. I'm here for the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I'm here to decree the whole counsel of God. I'm here to lift up the kingdom of God. Leaders are called leaders because someone is following them. Notable author John Maxwell uses the phrase, quotation, if you're a leader and nobody's following you, you're simply on a walk. The key there is you got to be walking. You can't just sit there and be a leader. Got to do something. Get involved somewhere. So the question as leaders we must all ask is, who is following me? And secondly, where am I leading them? The only place as Christian leaders we should lead anybody is to Jesus. If where you're going, we can't end up in the Word, godly principles, not necessarily preaching them a message, but in godly principles, that we're leading the wrong direction. Where am I leading them? Am I leading them on a journey of murmuring, complaining, wandering in the wilderness, or am I leading them to possess the land that God has promised to us? God didn't bring us here just so we could fight, okay? I don't accept that. God didn't bring us here to bicker and complain and fight over everything. God brought us here to take this land for his name's sake. God brought us here to conquer adversaries, defeat devils. Oh, my God. So, leaders, as leaders, we do not reserve the right nor have the opportunity to just sit there. If you're not doing anything, you're not leading, or you hope of leading anybody else. The journey to grow and succeed is first an internal one. That's why I believe the Lord led me to teach on Wednesday nights about the fruit of the Spirit. To grow in the fruit. That's our internal growth. That's the resources. That's the nutrients. The first person that I must lead, the first person you must lead is you. Me. I must lead me. You must lead you. You can't lead effectively without self-discipline. If you don't get up when the alarm goes off, eventually you're going to lose your job. I know from experience. Why do we think it should be different in the church? Well, I just hit a stump with the plow right there. Thank God I got a team of mules and a John Deere on backup. Treat a ministry. Wouldn't be late on their job for nothing, but won't show up on time for ministry for nothing. Wouldn't break a rule on the job for nothing, but don't really respect, adhere to, honor the disciplines of God. We can't really take and play the blame game and blame it on whoever blogged that today. Thank you. That was, or yesterday, whenever I read it. And so it's self-discipline. Why didn't the Israelites get the promise that God gave them? Why didn't they get it more quickly? It's not. But that's not the way it is. We know that. Every day we're faced with decisions of discipline. One of the stuff's getting broke and people running here and there and stuff happens. I mean, you got 2 entrances now instead of 1. You got one little window instead of a full glass door. I don't know all the answers to that. But as they work with it, we'll come up with a good plan. Come up with a good idea. Challenge, reward is a computer. Jesus, eating vegetables. What we're trying to do is help everything that moves